How about the school district I haven't seen in 3 years, Lefiya? After arriving at the school district and spending the night in the assigned guest room, it was already early morning. Lefiya was walking down the hall with a teacher. The lion's golden hair covers the neck, which is relatively long for a man. He is also very tall, around 180 cm. His body looked very lean at first glance, but Lefiya knew very well that under his clothes was a well-trained body, like steel. She didn't realize it when she was in school, but now that she's shown her skills as an adventurer, she realizes that he has an exceptional sense of balance just by watching her steps. He wasn't even carrying a weapon, let alone armor, but when she saw him, the description, like a knight, still came to mind. His body was always straight, as if there was a sword stuck in his body. The eyes, the same color as the hair, are majestic like a lion's. If they were stared at by those eyes and saw his smile inadvertently, many girls would probably blush and have some kind of misunderstanding. He is the director of the school district. Also the leader of Bodraban, Leon Waldenberg. However, in life, it is also very important to accept the situation and adapt. The sooner you can do this, the more you can expand your world. The process thing, right? I'm glad you can remember. Even just a little bit, if my teaching can make Lefiya's life more exciting, that would be the happiest thing. Leon turned this way looking at it, he slightly narrowed his golden lion eyes. His eyes are exactly what a teacher should be who takes pleasure in the growth of his students. The head teacher is worthy of the name. Leon is fairer and more direct than anyone else. His lectures are very easy to understand, and if he has any questions he will discuss them with the students. He will say, "I'm still very raw as a teacher," in a dignified way, hoping to grow along with the students. It is precisely for Leon's performance in not forgetting his original intention that students clumsier than he can resonate and admire him. Don't be proud, try to be right. Convince people with reason and guide. Lefiya felt that he was the one who best suited the title of professor. When she was a student, she told him about her problems, so he talked to her gently and thought about many things with her. In addition to Lefiya's material, Leon has many anecdotes. He would go without sleep and stay awake for 5 days looking like a normal person, just to accompany the students in solving problems. Without a doubt, he is the most popular teacher in the school district. No, about his popularity, maybe it should be said that it's the same all over the world. Feeling Orisa following diagonally behind her like a helper, she made eye contact. Lefiya was a little weak. At this time Leon started to confirm the future plan. A brief description as mentioned at the time, the lecture will be held after a time adjustment. I hope that Lefiya can concentrate on teaching and instructing the subject. Fine, but why don't you let me see the students' grades and profile? I think it would be more convenient to get to know them in advance. I hope you watch them without any preconceived ideas. Also, let me hear your impressions and opinions of Lefiya. Lefiya was walking towards a certain destination. Leon looked ahead and said, at this moment, Lefiya, who was looking at his profile, stopped in her tracks. Guiding the students. Can I do that? She stood there, bathed in the sight of Leon and Orisa, who turned and mumbled inadvertently. This is not an inferiority complex, but pure self-doubt. Are you feeling uncomfortable? No, that's not the case. Needless to say, when I was in the school district, I was in the teaching position since joining the Loki family. It's hard for me to imagine the self from the teacher's point of view, or I doubt that such a self can be useful for the juniors who are about to come into contact. Lefiya and Leon looked at each other, revealing the thoughts in their hearts. Orisa is silently watching her, seems to guess what happened to the old acquaintances who have been separated for 3 years and what state they are in now. And Leon showed a smile. I see. Experience is really important. First of all, it can bring confidence. On the other hand, conceit that is not based on experience is often regarded as arrogance. Just from realizing this, it can be said that Lefiya has a lot of the qualities of a teacher. Leon spoke first to reassure her and then offered more suggestions. Because you are like that, my advice is to remember the faces of the people who guide you. Think about what they said, or even if they didn't say anything, just think about what they're expressing. For you who are in the teacher position, and they who remain in Lefiya's heart are the best role models and the most suitable teaching materials. Your projection is the first step to realization. Because you have always been in a teachable position, you have the possibility to be better at teaching than anyone else. Do not forget that. Lefiya widened her eyes. Orisa, who was looking this way, showed a moved expression, and there was a bit of pride in it. As opposed to the white base student uniform, Leon wore a black teacher uniform that represented the pride of the school district. He actually wore a gentle smile like teacher. So it was, she thought. It felt like the thick fog that had enveloped her had disappeared. At this moment, Leon, Riveria and Ace in front of her honestly appeared in Lefiya's heart, and the white girl who hugged her like an older sister, who was no longer there. Lefiya hid her loneliness and pain in a corner of her heart and realized again, she really is still a student, there is still a lot to learn from him. School district students are highly sought after among small and medium-sized families, but it is difficult for them to get in front of large-sized families. One is that the faction level is too high, and the other is that many members and main gods are too difficult to serve. The most famous is the Familia Goibniu, who focus on forging. Unlike the family of Hephaestus, the simple and vigorous elf prefers to avoid the world, and her exquisite skills have attracted many students. When I came back to Orario last time, all the forging students wanted to join their family. They challenged the question of the old gods, and all failed. It is very famous that both men and women cannot control themselves and cry softly. Loki Familia is also one of the extremely difficult factions to join. But the situation here is different, it is Loki who unilaterally faces the director Baldur. He deeply hated and rejected all recommendations from the school district side. For Lefiya who joined the group, it's not like she doesn't think of any girl who fits Loki's preferences to join, but there must be strict censorship. After all, there are Finn and the others, at least they will observe your skills. And Lefiya fits their criteria. Thinking about it, she couldn't help but feel a little proud, she was really full of pride at the time, but after joining the group, she faced continuous setbacks and disappointments. She even wanted to die because she was so incompetent. The other members are so good that she wets her pillow with tears every night, thinking, I'm just a useless flying insect. Suddenly. Wow! Loki Familia, that 1,000 elves, is right in front of you. Thank you very much. Please give me your advice from now on, Lefiya-senpai. She was looked at by the juniors with star eyes, she felt a bit complicated. Built in an empty classroom in a multi-purpose school building on the academy level. Lefiya, who entered along with Leon and Orisa, was met with excitement from the students. It is precisely because I hope to become a mage like you that I chose the subject of combat techniques. It is a great honor to meet you. Xiaomi is so cunning. Nano is also very honorable. Sister's name can be heard far from Orari. The elf girl who looks like a lady, the immature human girl and the neutral-looking werewolf boy. Receiving enthusiastic support from three directions, Lefiya's reaction was neither surprise nor confusion, but a smile. Seeing her eyes shining, they said excitedly that they would definitely join the Loki Familia, as if they were looking at the old self. She coughed lightly with warm eyes and looked at them with a smile in her eyes. The Loki Familia faction isn't the luxurious place you imagined, is it? For some reason, an open-minded smile appeared and all the juniors bowed their heads. Former student Lefiya, you should also know that whoever wants to become a combat professional will form a 4-person team other than the squadron. The one I want you to take over is the 7th Squadron. When she and the students looked at each other, Leon began to explain smoothly. Lefiya looked at everyone in the 7th Squadron, who got used to the white uniforms and frankly felt homesick.